Good morning. Okay, so today in this video, I'm going to talk about partial fasting. Partial fasting and fast mimicking were originally made popular by someone named Walter Longo. Walter has contributed to a ton of the research behind this type of fasting, and it's part of why fasting has become so popular and why we know so many of the scientific benefits of fasting. So what is partial fasting? Partial fasting is essentially lowering your calories, compressing your eating window, and lowering your protein and your carbs in order to mimic the benefits of a long water fast. So for many people, this is a really nice way to experiment with fasting or to get the benefits of a long fast without having to completely restrict their caloric intake. In a partial fast, you can't have any animal sources of your macros. Ideally, we're going to compress the food into a 6-hour eating window. So a lot of people will focus on a 1 to 7 p.m. is a good eating window for partial fasting. When do we do this? Some people will do this on a regular schedule, so a couple times a week. Other people will incorporate this once a month. In lieu of a longer water fast or broth fast. So a lot of people will do this for 5 days in a row. I like partial fasting as a way to break my water fasts. And a lot of people do that too, because we want to essentially warm up the body to get it used to digesting again. Why? So the benefits of partial fasting are numerous. There are a lot of studies, and I will cite some of those and include them on the cheat sheet that you guys have at this point. Again, it really mimics the same benefits that you get out of a 5-day water fast or a broth fast. It's incredible for people who cannot limit their caloric intake. So people that are maybe, going through cancer or on chemo that need to have some nutrition in, partial fasting is a great way to maximize all the benefits of a long traditional fast. This type of fasting promotes autophagy. Remember, autophagy is our body's natural way to detoxify. Basically means eating itself. So the body goes into a process by which it eats all the toxic debris, all the old sick cells, which then, again, one of the most miraculous benefits of fasting is it promotes this new cellular growth, the stem cell surge. Stem cells are new immature cells. They basically go anywhere that our body needs support. So this is why during particularly a prolonged 5-day fast or partial fasting, people will have decrease in pain, decrease in inflammation. They'll feel about 10 or 15 years younger. It's really interesting. I was just watching the latest episode of Pain Revealed, which is a docu-series essentially on stem cells. And the episode this morning was talking a lot about how to create natural stem cell surges. And they were talking a lot about fasting, in particular partial and 5-day fasting. So tons of benefits. Again, it's going to decrease inflammation. We're going to have any energy diversion. So anytime our body's not over-focused on digestion, which is one of the most expensive processes of the body, our body can focus on cellular healing and repair. And so that's part of why we get this massive surge in energy and in healing during a fast. So in my day in the life of, I shared how I did a partial fast. Some people will, just follow the macros. So you're going to keep your calories under 1,000, essentially. You're going to compress your eating window. So it's almost like an intermittent fast, except when you open your eating window, you have to stick to these certain macros. Again, as always, you want to keep your clean sources of fat up. So what makes it really easy to focus on the kind of foods you can have, you can actually have fruit, fiber, and fats. That's how I remember it, the 3 Fs. So this is part of a fast where you can have fruit, where in a lot of the fasts, we are talking about, sticking to ketogenic lifestyle, being keto adapted. So, as a reminder, these are not diets. These are lifestyles. These are therapeutic strategies. Ketosis is not something that we want to stay in. It's, again, a therapeutic strategy that we can use to help our bodies become fat adapted and to help create a super healthy environment that gets rid of toxins on our own. So we can have some berries, we can have some avocado. Within the fiber, we want to stick to mainly vegetables. And then again, we want to have those clean sources of fat. So during our eating window, we can have those kinds of food. What I like to do is I use something called the Catabo shake during my partial fast. So for the Catabo shake, I will have 1 scoop once I start my window. I'll have another scoop later on, or I can have 2 scoops in one shake. And then I have a small meal in the evening. So for some people, what's tricky about a partial fast, and I'm one of them, is that when I open up my eating window, I'm used to eating. And so partial fast, I feel like I'm holding back a little bit on the calories. But what a lot of people will say is just kind of dish out your food for the day so that you know and you're aware, and then when you're done, you're done. There is also a program called Prolon that Walter Longo created. It's packaged meals. I'm not a huge fan of the packages as far as food goes. I like to eat real foods. However, Prolon is a great system for people who want to start to experiment with this kind of fast or with fasting in general, and maybe are overwhelmed by all the counting of the macros, the figuring out the details and the recipes. So Prolon, Prolon, is packaged meal that creates a partial fast for you. Okay, so this is all the what, the when, the why of partial fasting. As always, if you have any questions, please comment below.